2-week ceasefire is not sufficient. We will force another vote on the House floor around the War Powers Resolution.
We should not have to do this, but we will if Donald Trump will not do it himself.
He's been terrible with the wheel.
It is Congress who can declare war. It is not a self-serving president who is guided by Mr. Netanyahu.
I wish I had more words than this, but Democrats not hiding the fact that they want President Trump in timeout. House Democrats tried to pass a war powers resolution today and got denied, but they're clearly not giving up.
And neither is the Senate. Chuckle Schumer vowing to force a vote next week. John Fetterman standing firm against nonsense.
Every single Democrat running for president and every single Democrat in the Senate said we can never allow them to acquire a nuclear weapon. And now if you want to talk about a war crime, you know, Iran is a 47-year-old war crime. Every single thing Iran done is an entire war crime. Now, we are the force of good in the world. And now that's where now we're not even 40 days into this. And now I'm reading that they now have to force another, you know, war powers vote. And I will vote against that now because we have to stand our military to allow them to accomplish, you know, the goals of epic fury.
Let's bring in Fox News contributor and the Federalist editor-in-chief, Mollie Hemingway. Always a pleasure and an honor, Mollie. The Democrats, not in essence, the Democrats simply stand for and with a terrorist regime.
Well, we have seen a lot of that, and our current laws and policies do allow the president to engage in some activity prior to any congressional authorization or war powers. But it is true that the Constitution does put with Congress the power to declare war and appropriate those funds. But President Trump said in his address not that long ago that he was looking to wrap things up in 2 to 3 weeks. And assuming that's true, then this will all be a lot of sound and fury that goes nowhere.
Mollie, what is this signal to our adversaries when they see this sort of infighting? Does it show weakness? How do you see it?
Well, it is, you know, this is an expensive war. It's costing billions of dollars a day. And so it's not illegitimate to have concerns about the cost and having people buy into it. And I would actually say that President Trump and the Trump administration and Republicans in general should make sure they're really making the case for everything that we're doing and have done here. But I think people understand that in our country, presidents handled these types of war efforts, and they could not be confused in any way about President Trump's resolve.
Yeah.
Let's talk the Commonwealth, Virginia. The new governor there is getting split polling, and that's not bad at face value, but if you compare it to averages from her predecessors, waboom, splat, right on her face. She is in last place, but that's not how she sees it, Mollie.
If everybody hated me, why is everybody putting my face on their mailers for the referendum? Listen, at this moment, when I was elected, really, frankly, that's the only poll that mattered. My election, 17-point swing.
Mollie, they're putting her face on it. She's being called Governor Bait and Switch, trying to defeat the Dems in the redistricting push because it works. That's how much people dislike her already in the state.
Yeah, I mean, the situation in Virginia, and I know you have connections to Virginia too, Dagan, but I live in that Commonwealth. It is a dire situation. This woman has only been in office for a few months. She ran as a moderate. She claimed she was going to work on affordability. Instead, there has been nothing but draconian regulations, getting back involved in climate groups that increase the cost of energy. She's supporting, and a lot of Democrats in the Commonwealth are supporting, letting illegal immigrants, even those who commit major crimes, free on the streets. She's taking credit for all of the good work that Governor Youngkin did in bringing businesses to the state. People are fleeing. She herself said, I won by 17 points. That's what shows how bad her polling is now. She has this high unfavorability, and it's because of what she and other Democrats in the state are doing.
Mollie, if you were advising a Republican candidate in a different state, what's the case study that you would take away from how this has gone for her in the first couple of months that you would use as a strategy to ensure that it doesn't happen again in another state?
Well, you saw Democrats saying, we're going to do the Abigail Spanberger strategy. We're going to tell people that someone who's a former CIA operative, who's a left-wing activist, is actually a moderate. And we know we can trust the media to go along with it. They've all said this is what they want people to do in other states. I think Republicans, if they were wise, would point to Abigail Spanberger and say, this woman claimed she would be a moderate. Point out all the times that people said she was going to be a moderate, and then point to her actual record to warn people about what can be done so quickly in a state. I mean, this is a state that just a few months ago had a Republican governor, Republican lieutenant governor, Republican attorney general, and the amount of change that they have accomplished in a few months, and all of it seemingly pretty deleterious, is really shocking and should shock the country.
They should call her Abigail Mondani, because that's truly where the heart of that party is, and the heart, certainly the mind of a lot of these politicians. Real quick, Mollie.
Dagan, I think there's a way you could say that she's actually more radical than Mamdani. And at least when he ran, he openly embraced that he was going to be radical. She lied to people, and people are now suffering from it.
And the suffering's just begun. I'll leave it at that. Mollie Hemingway, great to see you. We'll see you tomorrow.
Thanks, Mollie.